user of it. So decent pick. Now Zach going to be banned out. That's more what we're used to seeing on this stream. Zach not often getting to be played. He's probably Zach and Sejuani are the two premier tank junglers right now, with Skarner probably thrown into the mix as well. All have excellent engage, and yes, Jhin banned away. I've been expecting to see this. Jhin is a terribly potent pick champion, especially with the change now that his ultimate can also proc the snare from his W. He can engage team fights from a long way away, but also with the changes that Riot has put into the Ginsu's Rage Blade, he actually has threat as a hyper scaling AD carry now.
Well, and that's something else with both the Jhin and the Zac, is that both were banned away. Zac played last week twice, so obviously a high competitive pick there, as well as Kled played twice last week as well. Degenerate 5, Prank Guru playing that in the top lane, so that's going to be banned away from Liquid Optimum. They've obviously done their homework and taken away the Tahm Kench for Degenerate 5, maybe looking to play something that can do a little bit of that hard sustain that Tahm Kench is well known for, consuming his ADC and getting them out of a hard spot.
Swain, probably, I'd put him top 3 in the mid lane right now. And he's also an excellent pick because he can be flexed to the top lane. Swain, when he came out, everyone was trying to play him the old off tank. You know, you sit in the middle of the team fight, you soak damage, you dish out damage, kind of that mid-ranged threat type thing. Swain's rework really put him in the vein where he is a burst mage. If you get within a certain range of him, he will kill you. And also being incredibly tanky and having an advanced build path for him, he's a premier pick right now. Now, Jax, I've taken to saying that Jax is one of those champions that doesn't require enough brain cells to be as good as he is. You really don't have to be that good to play Jax, but he's just an amazingly powerful hyperscaling top lane / jungler, and a good pickup for Magnum Pater, if that is indeed who's going to be playing him. Now,
the other thing on that I want to note real fast is they did play him last week as well. The player is probably going to be Gudakris, taking him in the jungle. 13, 7, and 8. Massive on the kills and really good plays around the map. So should be back on him. We'll see if the rest of the picks follow some of what they did last week.
Now, Xanion on Kai'Sa. We've talked about this a little bit last week with the changes. They're about to kind of undo a lot of the stuff that they gave her because they did overbuff her. Apparently not enough people bought the package deal with her. No one's spending RP on the champion, so Riot buffed the snot out of Kai'Sa, and she's top 4 in the 80 carry. Jinx, Kai'Sa, Xayah, and Caitlyn are all considered the top 4 for solo queue right now. Now that changes a little bit in competitive play, but Kai'Sa, very powerful and she has kind of that side lane roaming threat as well, and can engage on and instantly join any fight where there is CC thrown down. So Jinx, Kai'Sa, both hyperscaling, but if Blues 87 can start popping off in fights around the mid game, he can get himself really, really fed, and then Jinx out carries Kai'Sa in that situation. So it depends on mid game. Now, what do you think about the Alistar ban?
Alistar was a huge top pick last week. Picked up twice and both times played to massive effect. Now, obviously, the Fire Ferret Gerbil played him in the bottom lane and did incredibly well, 2, 0, and 12. Huge pick up for them. But even over on Magic Conch Shell, 4, 5, 23 for C9. Adrian played him very well as well. So huge on the CC chains, going to be able to lock up. The hyper carry Jinx is going to want to move around a lot. So banning him away is going to give them a lot of potential mobility in that bottom lane. The real question is, who is Thresh going to face off of now that the Alistar and the Nami both have been banned away? Is it going to be one of those more sustains like the Soraka, or is it going to be a crazy hard engage like Leona that would be massive in combination with the Skarner. You're talking about long-range setup from that Solar Flare, opening the opportunity for Skarner to come speeding in and grab someone with his Impale and pulls them right back into the team. Or will it be that Janna for the super support, just shielding and looking for that disengage?
Mm-hmm. And it does look like that Jax will be in the top lane because Shyvana is locked in for the jungle pick. I can't imagine her going top. She's a far superior jungle. And it looks like the Aatrox going to be put up against the Jax. Aatrox, while not as bad as he used to be, is definitely not the premier top laner, as you might say. So we've got 2 picks left. Any theories on what it's going to be?
As I said, it's still probably going to be an engage from the Degenerate 5. Bard, I guess, kind of fills that a little bit, especially with that ultimate. Full 10-man Team Zhonya's, anyone? But I was looking for engage simply because you want someone to set up the repeat CC that you get from Skarner and Pale. Even Swain has his never move that he can drag people into, setting up for the CC chain of the Aatrox Dark Flight, which is going to add the knock-up, the stun from the Bard Q. There's just so much layered CC there. And I like that they went for somebody that's going to have a little more of that sustained heals in the back line. Going to give Kai'Sa the ability to choose exactly when she wants to dive the enemy team. And can move around the map with high mobility, high lane impact, which is what Skarner's going to want to do as well. So it's overall not a bad pick. I do think that his squishiness is not going to lend itself very well to the Jax or even the Lux, because they're just going to have so much damage and burst potential. You're talking 3-shot from the Jax late game. Even Lux ultimate, if he's half health from across the map, Lux can kill him. So those are things that concern me a little bit, but as long as he's quick on his feet, able to make some of those movements, able to dodge out some of those skill shots, should be all right and should be a decent pick for Degenerate 5.
Mm-hmm. Well, as we're going in, I think we should run through champions and their players and then get into some analysis. What do you think?
I completely agree, but I am going to toss out. Thank you, Norse Code 2018, for the follow. Appreciate it, whoever that is in the chats. Prankaroo for Team Degenerate 5. Ladies and gentlemen, this is XLNC Shoutcasting. Jake Kelton, Wraith. We do this every Saturday for the Legends Series 2, which is going to be going on right now. Game number 1 starting us off. Prankaroo taking the Aatrox in the top lane. Xyleflame on the Skarner in the jungle. Xeneon taking Swain in the mid lane. Pixel Bleach with the Kai'Sa in the bottom lane 80 carry role. And Renduri with the Bard bottom lane support.
All right, and for Liquid Optimum, it's going to be Magnum Pater lane on Jax, Ludacris in the jungle, taking Shyvana, Blues 87 on Lux in the mid lane, I carry on ADC Jinx, and Insanua on Thresh in the bottom lane.
Well, I honestly think I have said Xeneon's name different every single time that I've read it, because it's a very interesting name to say. Xeneon. There's a lot of fun ways to say that. So, looking across these teams, I think that I would give overall to Liquid Optimum, just because I think they have a really nice composition, mixtures of magic damage, 80 damage, enough CC, the engage from Shyvana if she builds super tanky. There's a lot of potential for their team. What a little concerning is that frontline tank, whereas Degenerate 5 has a ton of tank. We're talking that frontline Skarner, the frontline Swain, even the frontline Aatrox could potentially be huge. However, will they have the damage? What are your thoughts?
Well, for the late game on both sides, Jinx and Kai'Sa are both defined as hyper carries. Then you kind of have burst mages in the mid lane, so their damage numbers from their carries are looking relatively the same. Kai'Sa's a little bit harder to execute in team fights because she's a shorter range AD carry. Jinx is a lot safer. However, Jax and Shyvana are where we start seeing the difference coming through. Jax scales a lot better than Aatrox and really should be able to outduel the Aatrox in the late game if they are both at the same level of kills. Shyvana and Skarner's much tankier and also, of course, brings to the table the pull. That's the really only reason to play Skarner. You have Predator, you have Righteous Glory, and then you pull somebody, a key target like the Jinx like the Lux and drag them into your team and remove one of the carry threats. So Skarner, if Xyleflame manages to really pop off on the Skarner and get some key hooks onto people and drag Jinx or Lux into the team fight, I think they have a really good chance at winning this.
I completely agree. It's going to come down to a lot of execution. You know, who is landing what skill shots and where. The other thing is that I think in the group 5v5 fight, Liquid Optimum comes out at a slight advantage because they have the crit rockets coming out from Jinx. They're going to be doing splash damage. You have Jax being able to dive that Kai'Sa. We actually saw a very similar setup last week with Liquid Optimum versus Magic Conch Shell, and that Jax was the only one that could get onto Stonewolf and stop that hyper carry Kai'Sa when it came to those 5v5 team fights. Will the Jax be able to do it again this time? He's obviously come from the champion, and that's where I give them a little bit of edge, especially in those 5v fights. Whereas if you can keep it in this more picks realm for Degenerate 5 with the Skarner, with the Swain, even with the Aatrox, even Bard, you've got a lot more opportunity to very quickly make a fight become a 4v5 by catching somebody out, go and push either a Drake, go push a Baron, and move forward in those arenas to find your edge and advantages.
Indeed. Now let's talk about these runes a little bit. Swain is taking up what is that? Phase Rush. It's actually proven to be the favored rune on him. That the fact that spell allow. He's really the only. The real question mark.
Wraith's having a little bit of connection issues. I think currently League of Legends is murdering my internet capabilities as of this second. We'll have to give it a second and see how it does in a minute. It looks like the stream overall is still running fine, kilobytes per second, but we have been killed when it came to being able to download information off of the internet. As long as the computer doesn't crash, though, that's what counts.
Fight, because then everything starts. Your rockets proc that on everybody, so you can really slow down a whole team and get a lot of layered CC. But you are sacrificing that the fleet footwork, which is just so good for laning phase. I don't think that's worth it at the moment.
Whoa. Did you just load into the game already playing?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, apparently my computer was having a hard time loading into it. But there we are. We are into the game. And I missed the first 2 minutes of the game. But we're still here anyway. So.
Yeah.
All right, in the bottom lane, Jinx getting a pretty good amount of damage. 2 minutes and 6 seconds. Jinx just flashed and is forced to use the heal as well, ticking away, ticking low, but the ignite, not quite enough coming out from the Bard. It did get buffed out, so it had a lot more damage than usual, which is going to knock her extremely low. She's forced to use both summoners and now have to recall back towards the base as well. What's your timestamp at? Give me a call out.
25, 26.
Okay, I'll slow mine down half a second to be able to catch up to you. All right, what's it at now?
36, 7.
Keep
8,
counting.
9, 10, 41, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Cool,
8.
we're time together now. Oh, Swain flashing forward doesn't quite get the damage onto
Out of mana.
Lux, very low health in the bottom lane. Nice hook, pulls Bard in, but the tower has already switched aggro to the Kai'Sa. Doesn't matter. She gets first blood with a nice play moving in the mid lane. Double buff onto the Shyvana. Goduricus being able to pick that one up easy as Swain was overextended without the mana. No way to be able to get out. Had already extended flash because he had flashed forward to try to finish off the Lux. So not keeping an eye on his mana pool costs him his death. And it's a 1-for-1 game. First blood, though, over to Degenerate 5 in the bottom lane on that Kai'Sa, starting that steamroll.
Yeah, and Kai'Sa, if she gets a lead, is just critically strong at level 6 and onward at just being able to tag the enemy ADC with her passive and then teleport in and then damage them down. Hold on, we've got a gank in the bot lane.
Yeah, that's going to be a quick kill over onto the Jinx. Kaisa picking up yet another one. Nice hook from Thresh, but not even close. And Skarner was actually there to be able to help out, get that kill. I believe he came out of the bushes, even though the camera didn't jump down there for a minute. So it is still massively in Degenerate 5's favor, even though on the opposite side, Shyvana trying to help the team out. Oh, nice ward there from the Skarner. Gets vision onto Blues 87. He's going to be able to clear that ward, but start the recall again. Shyvana here with the red buff should be able to chase Skarner out of the jungle.
Yeah, but Swain did have mid lane priority as he had already forced the Lux out of lane, so wise of Shyvana to back off there. She would have won the 1v1 as she had red buff, but the Swain with most of a health bar and most of a mana bar would have easily come in there and made it a 2v1. So intelligent to back off. We've got Aatrox bullying out the Jax in the top lane. That's sort of to be expected just because Aatrox has so much sustain in the early stages of the game.
Oh, he might actually be able to get a kill as well. Oh, stun doesn't quite finish before the Dark Flight knocks him up into the air, gets the kill underneath the turret, doesn't even care. Beautiful play from Pankuru, noticing that Jax was in trouble, had that. He just moved in aggressively underneath minions as well, and able to give over a kill from that.
Definitely a questionable engage there. The Jax definitely did not have to die at that moment. Jumping in, greeting for CS rather than just trying to buy some items and scale up. It's often best to bleed CS rather than give over a kill.
Well, because not only did he give over the kill, he also gave over, I believe it was a wave and a half of minions that all just went to the turret. Nice never move. Doesn't quite get the burst damage from the E, however, still forces the Lux to use her own shield to try to evade some of that damage.
Indeed. Let's take a quick look at this CS. We're seeing almost a 30 CS advantage.
Another kill onto Jax. He doesn't have level 6. He's able to jump to a ward. Starts up his stun. Able to stun both of them. Nicely done. However, they just dive under the turret. He uses the flash. However, Aatrox nicely moved. Wait, Xyloflame, you make him over a kill. What? Held on to the aggro from the tower just a bit too much. And a kill gets traded back over to Jax completely by accident, which shows some of the struggles from Degenerate 5 in that jungler playing, which is news. Xyloflame, this is his first game in the Legends series. So, Infernal Drake also over to Liquid Optimum. Sorry.
Yeah, that gank ganks in competitive play always have an opportunity cost. And in this case, that opportunity cost is an Infernal Drake over to red team at the moment. And we've got Pixel Bleach trading very well in the bottom lane, but completely out of mana. They're going to have to end up going back before looking for that all-in. iCarry has been forced back on a number of occasions, so currently the Jinx is 2 levels down from her opposite number, so this could be a very dangerous all-in. Also, she's going to be sporting the Cull to the BF sword and Caulfield's Warhammer of the Kaisa, so I'm expecting to see. Bard unfortunately has not hit level 6 because they could have pulled a very amazing cheese where Bard throws the ultimate from Fog of War and hits the Jinx, and then Kaisa simply warps in and kills her with that full level advantage that she has right now.
Yeah, one of the things I'm going to notice, though, real quick, is that just previously, Liquid Optimum had really good vision all the way around the Drake, even on the top side a little bit into the river. However, Degenerate 5 has taken back control over it with that control ward in the top side. Level 6 on the Jax, but he's going to struggle to clear out these minions as Pankuru is just keeping the pressure on. He's going to go in. There is a Lux and a Shyvana around the corner. Stun's not going to land, and that may be the death of Jax before Aatrox can get down as well. He does have his ultimate available, or not his ultimate, but his passive available, so that is going to proc Shyvana's up there. It's a 2v2 in the bottom lane. Thresh goes down. Bard securing the kill on that one as Pankuru goes back in, knocking up the Lux. She's doing a good job. However, Shyvana still falls. The Skarner getting the last shot from that one. He starts the impale underneath the turret. He's going to give over. No, he doesn't quite have the low enough health, so doesn't give over the kill. Bard comes in to try to help out, take down the Jinx. She has started the snares, though, the flame traps. Chompers?
Flame Chompers.
Flame Chompers, there we go. And that is able to lock up the Kai'Sa long enough that she cannot get the kill. But Degenerate 5 putting massive pressure across the map as the Bard's going to come back in again. Nice shield, though. The Dark Passage from the Thresh keeping Jinx alive. He's going to throw out the hook. Both members of Degenerate 5 deep underneath the turret range, and Sanema trying to get in with his boost movability to make something happen, but they're just going to get the farm instead.
Yeah, but it's level 7 to level 5. And the thing is while all that mess behind the tower looked really aggressive and fancy, what was really happening, the most important thing there was iCarry was completely zoned off the minion wave. That was a triple stacked wave that was crashing into the tower, and iCarry got XP for maybe a quarter of it.
Well, it shows in the farm, down almost 50 farm, only 10 minutes into the game. That is huge.
Yeah, Kai'Sa, when she hits level 6, just has that amazing kill threat. And iCarry really can't approach the wave. There's no hope that that bot lane has of dueling the enemy. So that it's just so much CS bleeding over, and I'm expecting an all-in here. Because it's 6 and 7 versus 5 and 6. Meanwhile, in the top lane, Prankuru is just in an amazing spot against this Jax. A similar CS lead we see developing in the top lane. 3-0 over the Jax, who did end up getting a kill from Skarner's small misplay, taking one too many shots from the tower. And in the mid lane, we have a smaller but still noticeable CS.
Oh, Bard ult gonna find the Jinx. However, Dark Passage here available. Very quick jump to it. It's gonna get her out of that one. She doesn't have any summoners though, so the pressure is massive in this bottom lane. Pixel Bleach already with the soul essence. Oh, ult finish from iCarry. However, the Super Mega Death Rocket not going to find the Bard as a target. And in the top lane, the dive is going down once again onto the Jax, and Pale going to pull him out from underneath the turret. He tries to get the dodge down, still knocked up, avoids some of the damage, but doesn't even matter. The Aatrox is just too tanky at this point. Kai'Sa picking up the Jinx in the bottom lane. However, she's between a Shyvana and a turret, and that means that she's going to go down. Shyvana picking up credit for that shutdown gold. As you always know, you want to give 3 deaths over before shut them down so you get that bonus gold. But it is still not looking good for Liquid Optimum.
Pro strats right there. And meanwhile, top turret got cracked, and it looks like Aatrox is going to get turret gold for not 1 but 2 turrets. Of course, Blues 87 is roaming up this way, and he's got Shyvana with him. But I don't know if they have the DPS to
Jax goes in once again, trying to find the stun. Won't find it, but Shyvana is there. She doesn't have the red buff for the slows, but does have pretty good damage. Is the trade going to be real? It is! Oh my goodness! Prankuru does get sniped by the Lux. However, there's a Blast Cone available, which he's going to smack, knocking himself a little bit away. Nice hop over to where Swain is, can tank up some of the shots. Thresh lands the hook, but Swain is absorbing all of the damage. Is this going to be the real play? Flashes as well, gets the burst onto the Jax, finishing off that ultimate. And Xeneon saves his top laner in a beautiful play. Degenerate 5 get everyone out.
Yeah, and they pick up multiple kills and get most of the health of the top lane tower. Incredible play, great map rotation. Xeneon going to be snared up, but it looks like nothing's going to happen out of that. There's Blues 87 completely out of mana after throwing that E, and no follow-up to be had.
Well, one of the things as well in that whole play was that, hang on just 1 second, as Shyvana is going to get snared up. A Void Seeker not going to find her. That's a Dark Passage to get her out. But all of that going down in the top lane was a 4v1 until Swain teleported in and then became a 4v2. But it allowed the Kai'Sa and the Bard to free clear the bottom wave, continue to slow push it in, take down the turret as well, get the local gold from that, and continue to push it in. That farm lead between the Kai'Sa and the Jinx continues to grow as Pixel Bleach is just becoming unstoppable.
Look at the item difference. You have a completed Essence Reaver, 2 daggers, boots and a Doran shield, to a broken stopwatch, a pickaxe, Doran's blade.
Oh, Impale onto the Jax. It's just going to pull him back enough. Magnum Patter trying to get away from this one. Gets the stun down, hops to a minion, is burning away from the red buff from the Skarner. And that's going to be Kai'Sa picking up yet another kill. Going to be taken low from the tower shots, but shouldn't be too worried about that as no one else around in the top lane. Look at Optimum trying to make a play, but Aatrox is just so massive. 5-0-3. The Rage Blade not giving him quite the buff it may have before it was nerfed. However, still going to be impactful. And now Ludicrous trying to get away. The flash from Skarner. The reflash from the Shyvana. And Xeneon picks it up from the backside as there is just too many members of Degenerate 5 for Liquid Optimum to stop this.
And Blues 87 is just sitting in the mid lane going, guys, please, stop. Blues 87 actually holding it down very well, only having given over 1 death, and iCarry just going to be a casualty of war right there. Prankuru, way too powerful, and Insanima might actually give over his life as well if he steps outside of power range. And it does look like, no, not yet.
Yeah, he does have his passive up and available. I think it's called Bloodwell, and he's going to be able to get himself a kill and has started his passive as well. I don't think he's going to get this one, but Swain is here with the assist. Is this going to be enough? Prankuru getting some good damage onto the Shyvana. Xeneon underneath the turret. He's saying, hey, Aatrox, finish off the turret. Super Mega Death Rocket going to slow the engage, and that's going to be him just turning it right around and finishing off Shyvana. And the pings are real onto the turret. The flash from Jinx keeps her alive. iCarry avoiding the damage or the ult from the Bard, but they're just going to continue to move in as all of this healing between the Swain and the Aatrox is keeping them up enough. They're just going to keep pushing down yet another turret, pushing the top lane inhibitor turret now, and make an inhibitor off this as well.
And this is what we've got kind of gotten used to over the past couple of games with Degenerate 5. Absolutely immaculate team play and moving around the map very well. Individually, they're very strong. It looks like Prankuru is going to get blasted down, but nothing more to speak of here. Oh, hold on. Looks like they're going to chase in, and they might get a kill on the Xeneon, and yes, they do. They do actually manage to pick that up, but no. Kai'Sa is here, and I believe that the red team needs to back off. Liquid Optimum cannot take this fight. Hold on. If Ludicrous gets his ultimate up and they can pick off
Pixel Bleach maybe out. Nice flash play from the Bard, and Sanima setting it up for the Kai'Sa kill. Beautiful play from the Thresh, being able to get just in range to grab both of them, pulling back to the full 4 members of Liquid Optimum to jump on Kai'Sa, finishing her off, getting that shutdown once again. The Dark Passage from Thresh gets Shyvana right close range for the Raptors, but it is still only 16 minutes into the game. The Rift Herald is still available onto the map, but it is a massive, monumental climb for Liquid Optimum to get back into this game. They still have the top lane inhibitor, though, which can help.
Yeah, but I don't think that that's even a remote possibility. D5 is about to rotate over, grab the Rift Herald, and then move in. Probably take the top lane turret or the top lane inhibitor, or they could give the buff over to their top laner, put it with Aatrox in the bot lane, shove the Rift Herald down bot, and at the same time pincer into the top lane and take both inhibitors at the same time. The amount of strength they have on their solo laners and in their dual lane is just overpowering and can't. The best way they can really do things right now is to stretch the map, because solo lanes, there's no one who can answer their opposite number on the team. So if the only way that D5 loses a fight is if Liquid Optimum can force something grouped up, and it looks like we have a catch here, and there's nothing even worth saying about this. Ludicrous overextended without vision in his own jungle, chased down by Xyle Flame Predator.
And that's going to be Shelly spawned in the top lane. Degenerate 5 may want to finish this before the Baron even spawns into the map. Double man ultimate from the Bard. That's going to lock up too with the Impale as well. iCarry is gone. Blues 87 is gone. Both the carries are finished off, as well as the top lane Jax. Looks like Blues 87 has accidentally left the game as well. I think this happened last game on top of it. That's going to be Shelly knocking down the first Nexus turret. Still alive for the second Nexus turret to fall, is tanking it up. Will she survive long enough for the dance on the Nexus base as well? Sets up, and it looks like we may actually get to see Shelly dance into the base, and that's going to be the inhibitor going down. The double dabs from the Penguins, and the game over to Degenerate 5.
The dancing Shelly. We've seen it on this stream, I think, twice before, and that makes it 3 times. Always nice to see. All right, so we're going to do a little bit of a breakdown of what's been going on in the game. Talk about some notable players real quick. Once my game decides to load in.
So what we can say is that we have seen the top lane both games. The first game around, Pankuru played Kled 6-0 and 13, a very strong top laner on that Kled. It was banned away from him this time around. Doesn't seem to care. Instead switches out with the Aatrox, going to be just as strong. Not only destroying the top lane in farm, but that allowed Xyle Flame on the jungler of the Skarner to come up as well and get even more kills. In the bottom lane, Pixel Bleach just seems to find his way with that Kai'Sa. First game was playing Caitlyn, did decently, 3-1 and 5, but this time around, continuing to push that Jinx way deep underneath her turret. It was the mid laner from Liquid Optimum that seemed to do okay. Blues 87 on the Orianna, first time around, 4-8-17, did all right. And, regular, what? Oh, I'm trying to, the camera just literally just driving me nuts right now. But go ahead, let's talk about these teams a little bit.
All right, yeah, we'll break it down a little bit. So for D5, you have to give credit first over to Prankuru in the top lane, managing to, it was a fairly monumental mistake by Magnum Pater to dive in. He was getting harassed out, he was getting denied CS, and it was kind of one of those things where he was just like, I've had enough, guys. I just want to get some farming. So he uses his Q, jumps in, tries to pick up some CS, but at that moment, Crank Crew, his passive pops up, and then he just completely goes all in, destroying the Jax and starting a snowball for himself. Whereas you can see 8 kills and over double his opposing laner's CS. A crushing victory from the top lane. If that wasn't enough, in the bottom side, you've got Pixel Bleach, 6-2, and a similar number up of CS over his opposing laner. Now, part of that I would have to give over to the fact that Jinx ends up taking Glacial Augment instead of Fleet Footwork. Glacial Augment was good, as I said at the beginning of the game. Before everything kind of settled out, you had an option really between press the attack, lethal tempo, because Fleet Footwork was not good, but then they buffed Fleet Footwork after the fact. After, I think it was 8.3, where they buffed Fleet Footwork, and that became the go-to for 80 carries. The issue is that if you're laning, and you have your opposing laner has Fleet Footwork, and you do not, they can take very aggressive trades into you and then heal up and sustain off of the minions, whereas you'll still be at low health after you burn your pots. We saw iCarry and Insanima take a few bad trades in the early game and then get zoned off CS. iCarry was forced back early, leading to a kill onto the Thresh, and then the snowball just continued from there. And then you also have to talk about Xyle Flame. While he did have one semi-embarrassing mistake, tanking one too many tower shots when he really didn't need to, and giving over a kill to the Jax. Overall, some very good pressure. Now, speaking of good jungle pressure, you have to give credit over to Gudakris. Managing to come in behind Xanion. Xanion was playing an excellent laning phase, shoving Blues 87 around in the lane. But then he flashes forward, not watching his mana pool, couldn't cast Q, and then Gudakris, as soon as he sees his laner ping that his that Xanion didn't have flash and was that low, out of mana, overextended to the turret, Gudakris immediately passes down, circles around behind him, and secures an easy kill. And he did that a couple of times, managing to secure a few clever kills for his team. But really, now, Insanima actually did have a couple of very good hooks, but the issue with playing kind of one of those all-in engage type supports is that if you're not winning, okay, great, you hit the hook, but, I mean, what are you going to do with it? At that point, you're playing Peel for your ADC. And once Pixel Bleach and Renduri were so far ahead, there was really nothing that either of the bot laners could do except seed CS, C tower, and roam around the map trying to look for a play. So that's kind of just the story of the game in a nutshell. Anything to add, Jake?
Yeah, I just wanted to note that I was actually incorrect at the very beginning of the game. Gudicris on the last week Saturday played Jax in the jungle with incredible stats. However, this time around was not on the Jax. Instead, it is a new player for Team Liquid Optimum, as it is Magnum Patter playing the top lane Jax instead. So a little bit of discrepancy between there. But so far, both games around, Gudicris has been doing a pretty good job for Liquid Optimum, but the weight was too much for him to put the entire team on his back and carry them into victory. So we'll see what they change up for next week. However, we are going to go to a break and be right back with game number 2, which I believe is going to be between the Purpose Gamers and Magic Conch Shell, if I'm not